Welcome. I'm joining you from my home studio today. I want to give those of you who are more beginning students, perhaps returning to your practice after a break, I want to give you some tools to help you modify the practice, really to support where you're at. That's something I'm super passionate about. And I really do believe that these practices can be useful for a really large amount of the population. Okay, so we're going to break down downward facing dog, and we're going to break down how to step your foot forward between your hands for those of you that are tighter. Okay, start off on your hands and knees. Now, downward facing dog bears weight in the hands, so we want to get really clear on the setup of our hands. I want you to spread your fingers as wide as you can. And then have your hands about shoulders distance apart, maybe even a little bit wider. My fingers are pretty close to the edge of my sticky mat. Look at your pointer fingers, and you want to turn your pointer fingers so they're parallel to the long edge of your sticky mat. So what tends to happen for most people, I know this was very much me, my hands would turn in a little bit. And what happens is that turns the shoulder internally as well, which we want to stay away from in downward facing dog. We actually want to externally rotate the shoulders. So pointer fingers parallel to each other and hands shoulders distance apart, maybe a little bit wider. That can give you a little bit more freedom. All right, once we've got that placement, press the inner edges of your hands down more. And then without moving, try to turn your hands away from each other. That's an isometric contraction, and that will help you externally rotate your upper arms, which is just going to make this feel a lot better. Walk your knees back a few inches. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up, press back, downward facing dog. Now pause for a moment here. Look to your hands, reroute your inner hands, and keep trying to turn your hands away from each other. Press your hips back more. Now have your feet about 6 to 8 inches apart. You can notice I'm bending my knees for this one. I recommend that this is where you start. You really want to emphasize lengthening your spine. For those of you that are a little bit looser or more warmed up, you can certainly straighten your legs, but that's not something I require. So if when you straighten your legs, you feel a lot more pressure in your shoulders and hands, then bend your knees. All right, now we're going to work to step the foot forward. Look to your hands. And I want you to step your right foot as far forward as you can. And for a lot of you, it'll get stuck maybe about halfway, but that's fine. What you can do is grab the back of your right knee with your right hand and help your foot between your hands, right? It's not how fast you go, it's finding the right alignment. And the really cool thing is, in a lot of these poses, we use our own body as alignment. So when we're in the proper length downward facing dog, all we need to do is look forward to the hands, and that's where we want the foot. And it might take a few tries to get it up, and that's okay. Have your feet, again, that hips distance apart. It's a little bit of a wider base. Keep your back leg lifted strongly and bend your front knee to a 90-degree angle. Now, if that's hard to do, chances are your stance is maybe a little bit short. And that's okay. So if your stance is a little short, an easy fix is scoot your back leg back and adjust your hands. And then we press back into downward facing dog pose. I'll show you a different option on the second side. And you just decide which one works the best for you. So for this option, I'm going to drop my right knee to the ground. And I'll swing my left leg to the left. And here I'm not dealing with that pesky sticky mat that makes it hard to get the foot forward. I can take the foot between the hands and then lift the back knee off the ground. Make sure your left knee is to a 90-degree angle And your right leg is strong and straight. And then from here, root your palms down, step back, scoot back, downward facing dog pose. Now, let's do one more round. Step your right foot forward. And what can be helpful is if you lift your left heel up, flex and round your spine, and you can maybe get a little closer, right? All different tools that we use. So here we'll call this low lunge pose. For less challenge, you could drop your back knee down, right? Because it's all about customizing the appropriate amount of challenge for you. And then let's step back, downward facing dog pose. Step or help your left foot forward. It might feel a little awkward and chunky at first. That's okay, work with it. It'll get easier with time. Stay either in low lunge here or drop your back knee down. We'll call this crescent lunge, a little bit less intense. Breathe, 3, 2, and 1. Lift your back knee up again. Step back, downward facing dog. I'm gonna add just one more thing on here. Step or help your right foot forward between your hands. So we're in low lunge here. We can back off challenge by dropping the back knee down, crescent lunge. Or for those of you that are ready for more challenge, you can lift your arms up overhead for high lunge pose. Everybody breathe. 3, 2, and 1. Release your hands. Make your way back into downward facing dog, and we'll finish up the second side. Step or help your left foot forward. Hands down, we'll call this low lunge. To decrease the challenge, drop your back knee down, crescent lunge. This can also be done with the arms overhead. For those of you that want more challenge, keep your back knee lifted. Rise up, high lunge. You might be a little wobbly here, that's okay. 3, 2, and 1. Release, press back. Okay, I hope this was some helpful information in teaching you how to get your front foot forward, which is useful for a lot of standing poses. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, and let me know what other videos you'd like to see. Thank you.